How's it going, folks? You're very welcome to another episode of The Changing Room. I'm absolutely delighted to say that we have on the line Aaron Mc Eneff, all the way over in Scotland. Aaron, how are you?
I'm good, Mark. Thanks. How are you? Thanks
Not
for
too
having
bad
me on.
now. How's the Scottish weather treating you? Is it as cold over there as it is here?
To be fair, it was freezing whenever for the first week and a half. The 2 weeks it was absolutely freezing. Loads of snow and that as well.
Yeah.
But it started to warm up out there now. So hopefully the sun comes out and the snow stays away.
You've had, I suppose, a couple of weeks or a couple of months to kind of settle into the new club now. So how are you kind of finding your bearings in the club and the league?
I know I've been on here now. I think this is sort of going into my third week, and the boys have been excellent with me, sort of welcoming. Staff the same. It's been really good and sort of easy enough to settle in around the training ground and stuff like that with the boys. And I've came on twice already, so got a good feel for the league. And with me obviously supposed to be in pre-season, initially we Shamrock Rovers. My training load sort of been managed over the first 2 weeks, and I feel sort of back up to speed now. So look, it's been good. I'm still in a hotel at the minute, but I've got a place sorted, so I'm moving in on Friday. So by next week I'll be sort of settled in properly and ready to go.
Good stuff. And kind of, you've said there you've come on twice already. First impressions on the league, I suppose, in comparison to the League of Ireland, is it a technical difference? Is it a bit more physical, or how would you describe it?
The two games that I came on and it was both teams that we played. It seemed like a quite physical league, and the tempo, especially the first game against there, the tempo of the game, it was like a hectic sort of tempo, and it was just a matter of sort of getting minutes under your legs and trying to settle in. But I'm sure after a few games I'll get used to that. And the boys in training that have been really good and explaining what way the games are and stuff. But I think most people would say, going from one club to another, there's going to be a wee bit of change in culture. But it's something that excites me, and I'm looking forward to getting a start in like a league game,
Doing your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the initial draw of signing for Hearts, Aaron? Obviously, the rumour mill does be in full flow around the League of Ireland and linked with clubs in the UK and different places. What kind of brought you towards Hearts?
To be honest with you, it's because it's such a big club, in Scotland. It's one of the biggest clubs in Scotland. The team's been doing well this year, and their goal is obviously to get promoted into the top flight of Scottish football again, and that challenge excited me. And the opportunity to come and play for a big club at my age as well. I'm going to be 26 in the summer. And I've played in the League of Ireland. That's been really good to me. Clubs I've played for over and back in Ireland have been really good to me. But I just thought that this was the right sort of progression for my career. And as I said, it's been sort of hectic few weeks for me, but I'm excited to get fully settled and get playing regularly. Because it's obviously up to yourself to go and stamp that authority, get in the team, and then work hard to stay in the team.
Was there a major decision to be made on your part after the success of winning the Cup with Shamrock Rovers, then going on and winning the league? Was there any temptation to maybe stay and see how the challenge in Europe went this year, or was it the automatic step to go back towards the UK?
No, look, it wasn't an easy decision by no means. We obviously had a great season last year at Shamrock Rovers and won the league. In my opinion, we're unlucky not to win the cup. Then, with you have the Champions League qualifiers like this season, that the boys will be playing in. So, there was a lot to be really excited for. Going into the new season with Shamrock Rovers, and it wasn't until late on in the transfer window. I was fully focused on the season ahead with Rovers, and then obviously the interest and the move came about. But you just get a gut kind of feeling if a new challenge sort of excites you, and that's kind of what it was for me. And I felt it was the right time for me to move on.
For any of our listeners that don't know, you had a couple of years spell at Tottenham Hotspur when you were quite young.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that go for you in terms of, there seems to be an overall trend in the league that a lot of players who've gone over to England and then come back, the couple of years in the League of Ireland seems to really stand to them before they go back over.
I would 100% agree with that. When you go away at a young age, you don't really know who you are as a person, never mind a footballer, and you don't have your family over there to help you and guide you through it. So it's very tough. And for lads coming back, they play in the League of Ireland. First of all, it's a very good standard. You're playing against good players every week. Along with that, you might be back living at home with family, like support mechanisms around you. So, with the ups and downs in football, you've got a lot of support around you. And then what I found in my time personally, I had managers that put faith in me and, give you that opportunity to play every week. And as a young boy, like for your development stuff, it's priceless if you're playing football every week, because you can do all the training you want, but you're going to really learn your trade by playing games.
And with regards to the League of Ireland, Aaron, how far away do you think, I know I spoke in the last couple of weeks to Jack Byrne and Gary Rogers, how far are we away from kind of cementing a team from the League of Ireland being in the group stages of, be it the Europa League or the Champions League, every single season? Whereas it's maybe seen as it's going to regularly happen. It's not seen as an overall achievement just to get there. How can we take it that step further and get to the knockout stages and stuff like that?
Well, you've obviously seen, Dundalk in recent years have made that step and got into the group stages. Shamrock Rovers, a good few years ago, they made the group stages as well. So it can be done, with League of Ireland clubs. But in terms of sustaining that and achieving that every year, it comes down to keeping squads together, I think, and building squads, and you have to have that bond for maybe a few years of a squad. And I think you see it in the League of Ireland all the time that really the top teams, the better players kind of move on for one reason or the other. So it's very hard for squads to rebuild, maybe every year, every 2 years. And to sustain a place in the group stages of the Europa League, I think, that would be a big factor if you can keep a squad together for a number of years. And, to be honest, in my opinion, it comes down to luck of the draw sometimes as well, because like you've seen us this year, we had a really good squad, but you get a draw against AC Milan, and it's very hard to compete. We such a super club, a European super club, basically. I thought we done well in the game and we gave them a game, but it's very hard to, for us to compete with the teams they got. So I would say they're the two main things: keeping squads together and stuff, and then also maybe a bit of luck in the draw.
I'm sure you're going to be keeping an eye on the League of Ireland as the season goes on. Obviously, I'm a massive Sligo Rovers fan. Sligo Rovers is my club. We're delighted Greg Bolger has joined us, a lad you know very well. Obviously,
Greg's a legend.
Yeah, I've heard good things about him now. I'm
He's a legend.
Looking forward to get the chat to him. In terms of the league, obviously you said a lot of big players have left. Yourself has left. Jack left. Danny Grant has gone across. If you were to predict for the season ahead, are Shamrock Rovers going to be the team to beat? Are Dundalk going to bounce back? Will a surprise package maybe jump into that too this year, be it ourselves as Sligo Rovers, Bohemians, Derry City?
I think, the standard, as I said before, is very good around the league. You'll obviously have Shamrock Rovers and Dundalk. We'll have good squads, as you would expect. But the likes of yourselves, Sligo Rovers, St. Pat's, Bows, Derry, they'll all have strong squads as well, as they do every year. And if I was to sort of put
careful what you say here.
I know if I was to predict, what way it's going to go, I still think Shamrock Rovers have enough within the squad, with the players that they brought in, and just knowing from how the club operates, I think the club will have enough to retain the title this season.
What has Stephen Bradley done to Shamrock Rovers, Aaron, to kind of transform a team that was probably never short on talent, but was kind of struggling to get over the line in terms of maybe keeping a dressing room happy or whatever the issue was? He seems to have knitted everything together at Shamrock Rovers. What is his strengths as a person and as a manager?
Well, if you look at, from when he came in, he's built a culture at the club that, I wasn't there at the time when he just came in, but maybe a culture that wasn't there initially whenever he came in. There's a connection from the youngest player at the club, whatever age that may be in the academy, to the oldest player in the club. There's that connection and that culture. And I think he's installed that within the club. And, in terms of the first team, over a number of years, he's built a squad that has a lot of good characters and good people in the squad, first and foremost, and then a lot of quality on the pitch. And, that's sort of how I see it. And in terms of him as a manager, like, his attention to detail is excellent in terms of giving you details about your opposition, who you're playing against, but also his man management to each player, and how he helps each player individually, what they need to improve on, what they're doing well. That was a big thing for me, and he helped me develop as a player massively whenever I signed under him. And obviously he's got a good coaching staff behind him as well that all do their bit, and it's a really good environment to enjoy your football there, and that's basically what I can say about it. I think, me personally, with the facilities, coaching staff, it's probably for me the best place in Ireland to be playing your football.
And obviously, I'm not petitioning to get Stephen Kenny out of Shamrock or Stephen Bradley out of Shamrock Rovers. Would you feel that he is the sort of person that could potentially go even higher in the management ladder? Be it we've seen Ian Barraclough with the Northern Irish team. We've seen Stephen Kenny being given a chance with the Irish team. Is it something that you could see maybe Stephen Bradley aspiring to in the next few years?
Like, I can't answer that question for him, because if something came up, that's obviously his decision. But in my opinion, I couldn't see any reason why that couldn't happen. Because as I said, he's in my opinion, he's a top manager, and if you ask any of the boys that's been in the changing room while he's been at the club, I'm sure they would say the same.
Okay, just before we might just chat a little bit about the Republic of Ireland stuff. I'm often fascinated to know, obviously before you went to Shamrock Rovers, you were back at your home club, Derry City. When you were at Derry, is there an added pressure on a player when he's playing for his hometown club? Do you take it as, I wouldn't say more personal, but is there a kind of a sense of a little bit more pressure when obviously the supporters, they could be family, they could be friends?
No, I would definitely say that, like when I just signed for Derry City, like as a young boy, I would have been going to the Brandywell as a fan, and going to the cup finals and stuff as a fan. And when you signing as a young boy from Spurs as well, there's kind of that expectation already. But I mean, you're not signing as an ex-Spurs first team player. You're signing as a youth player that has a lot to learn about the game. So already you've got that tag on your back, and you're sort of, you have to perform straight away because you obviously have that connection with some of the fans, family and stuff, and they're expecting a lot out of you. And I found that difficult to deal with, at the start. It took me a good 6 months to settle into the league, and whenever I got going, then it was grand, and you kind of take it in your stride. But I definitely would say there's that extra pressure in terms of, when say there's players being brought in, like foreign players or players not from Derry, you feel that bit of pressure to go and try and give the team a lift at times whenever it's needed, because it means more to you because you're actually from the city.
Talk to me about the feeling, getting the phone call, or I don't know how it's done, is it by email, being called up to the international squad?
It wasn't even a phone call or an email or anything like that. I went into
Gotcha.
training. I went into training on the Monday morning with Rovers, and we were about to start the rondos just before training. And the manager, he usually comes up a wee bit late, so he just came up and stopped the possession, like the rondo boxes, and he just said, "Look, lads, I just want to congratulate Graham and Aaron, you know, on the call ups, and you're in the squad." And I was like, you know, just a bit shocked and surprised,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like, and that was it. We actually carried on training for about another 20 minutes, then we got pulled out, and then it was just a case going home, packing a bag, and straight over to Castleknock. So it was it happened so fast, but look, it was an amazing feeling when you got told, you know what I mean?
And obviously, look, you're a professional footballer. We maybe as fans we might take it for granted, but are you nearly, I wouldn't say going into a fan shoot, but what's the feeling like that first day you're linking up with the senior squad to meet up with your fellow professionals, but it's your first time in the squad? Is it a sense of nerves? Is it a sense of, right, I deserve to be here, I'm going to take my chance?
Well, there was a good sense of like excitement, you know, because it's every young boy's dream to go and play for their country, and to get a call up, and you know I'm driving over to go and meet up with the lads and the team and that, and you're just wanting to make a good impression, really. And I know a few of the boys that was in the squad, so that helps, you know, to go in straight away, get chatting to a few of them, and you'd seem sort of settled in the surroundings pretty quickly, like. But then it's a case when you go on the training ground, you're hoping that, or well, you're not hoping, you're there to sort of show what you can do, and that sort of nervous tension, or you know, excitement, that sort of goes out of the way. And it's, I suppose, you just get down to sort of doing your stuff on the pitch, and playing football. And when I went in, you know, I enjoyed the training sessions and stuff, and I felt that I done quite well in the training session. So, you know, it was a really good time for me, and it's something that, you know, I have to work hard for, you know, if I want to get a cap in the future. And all you can do is work hard at your club, and play games for your club, and put yourself in the shop window.
And I suppose now that you mentioned it, fast forwarding to the fixtures coming up next month, would moving to Hearts, would that have been maybe a reason? Would that have been part of the reason that, I suppose, in some parts of maybe media or from some supporters, there might be a slight, I wouldn't say stigma, but on players from the League of Ireland getting into the Ireland squad, it all seems to be very scrutinised. I remember, you know, when Jack was kind of getting into the squads, there was always a lot of talk about it. A lot of people maybe running the league down. Do you now feel that maybe there's an increased chance of getting into the squads playing in the Scottish League, maybe more so than the League of Ireland, unfortunately?
Um, Maybe sometimes in the past, you know, but that kind of stigma is changing.
Yeah.
If you look at the, you know, Jack obviously broke that with breaking in, and then if you look at some of the football we played last year at Rovers, the standard was really good, you know, and like there was, you know, you're playing at a good level, in the European games and stuff, and you're playing and training with good players, but you know, maybe as you said, media wise and stuff like that, it might affect, um, you know, your chances. I'm not too sure. I just think that kind of stigma has been broken, and the quality of players in the League of Ireland, you know, I'm not saying everyone in the League of Ireland should be with a shout for a call up, you know, but I do think that there's very good players there that could get a chance. And it obviously comes down to the opinion of the international manager himself, Stephen Kenny. But for me, looking at it at the time when I made the move, um, with them games coming up, like with me making this move, it puts me in the shop window. You know, there's games that I can be playing now before that squad's picked. Whereas if I was in a League of Ireland team, you know, the league doesn't start the 19th of March, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't be playing competitive games at that time. So, you know, it puts me in the shop window, and all I can do is work hard here, and ultimately it comes down to the manager's decision at the end of the day. But I've said it before that the international football, it's a massive bonus, and a proud moment to be called up for your country. But as a professional footballer, the only way you can do that is performing at club level. So that's where my main focus is at the minute.
It must be very exciting at the minute. I know, personally, I was delighted with the appointment of Stephen Kenny. I think it's going to be brilliant for Irish football. And at the minute, there's a great crop of kind of young players coming through the squad that maybe yourself included, that probably wasn't there maybe in previous years. There must be a slight bit of excitement that it's exciting times for Irish football under Stephen.
I think so. I think Stephen's a great manager. He proved that at Dundalk and in a number of ways, and he wants to play football in a good way. He wants to get the ball down and pass it. And as you say, you look at the job we done with the Irish 21s as well before getting the senior job. I watched a few of their games, and he had them playing really good football. And you see how he's integrated some of them lads into the senior setup now, and there is a lot of young, exciting footballers coming through, that are, whether they're playing in the League of Ireland now at the minute, or they've just gone across to England or Scotland, whatever. There's a good, exciting pool of players they pick from, and I think you're right that it is exciting times for Irish football, and I would like to be a part of it in some way.
Well, hopefully next month we'll see you in the Ireland squads. I'll certainly be rooting for you, as well as the rest of the country after your time in the League of Ireland. Aaron, thanks very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Fingers crossed promotion comes to you at Hearts this year, and hopefully we'll see you in the Irish squads next month.
Thanks very much, Mark.
Thanks,
appreciate
Aaron.
it.
Cheers.